Following recent clashes among rival cult groups in Sagamu, the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, has vowed to clamp down on suspected cultists in the state. The governor has directed security operatives to fish out cultists and deal ruthlessly with those disturbing the peace of the town. According to the governor, the loss of lives and property caused by the cult clash were avoidable. The governor urged residents of the state to cooperate with security agencies by providing useful and adequate information to nab these perpetrators. The Ogun State government has also announced a restriction of movement from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. and urged residents of the town to abide by the restriction until normalcy is restored. Well, joining us in the studio is Senior Special Assistant on Public Communication to Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
It's a pleasure.
Again. Right. Now, help us understand what really is going on in Ogun State with regards to this cult clash, because this is not the first time the clash is happening this year. There has been clash, according to reports earlier, I think sometime in July or so, and there were so many issues that happened as a result. And then there's also the controversy surrounding the number of persons that were killed in this case. But talk to us, what really is going on?
Thank you. What we have on ground now, what we can say is happening, is there were court clashes in Sagamu, a part of Ogun State, from sometimes last week, Thursday, Friday, over the weekend. And let me put it on record that these issues of court clashes in Sagamu predates this administration. It has been a perennial problem that governments, past and present in Ogun State, have been battling with. But I want to say it clearly, that no governor or no administration has actually tackled the issue of cultism in that state as much as this current one. And I will give you, yes. Okay. And that's why we must be able to separate fallacies from truths when things like this happen. It is not correct to say there are court clashes in Ogun State. No. In Sagamu, we have an issue with an immediate cause.
Sagamu not part of this state?
But people paint a picture of as if all over Ogun State you have court clashes currently. No. In Sagamu, there were court clashes. And the police, because we must leave the police to do their job, even in this, they came, investigated, and said the remote cause of this current crisis has to do with sharing of some proceeds in a land deal. Yeah. You begin to wonder, what is the relationship between cultists and landowners and land sellers? That's to tell you that the community has roles to play in nipping this crisis in the bud. And that's what the governor is saying. Governor Dapo Abiodun has gone all out since taking over in 2019 to address the issue of cultism. That was the time he went to this same Sagamu and said, look, if you are involved in cultism and other violences, especially cultism, we'll arrest you, not only arrest you, but also we may pull down the house where we find you perpetrating that. That is one of those things he's done in the past. And he has also gone all out to bring in the security operatives on more than one occasion. That, look, let us sit down and find lasting solutions to this issue of cultism. But where the community appears not to be ready.
Is that the situation?
Because if the community is ready, like a police spokesman said, that in Sagamu, the people living there know these cultists. So if the governor will not know them one-on-one, the police commissioner may not know them one-on-one, but residents knows where these things happen. They know the hot spots. They know the gray areas across town. So it is a willingness of stakeholders to say, look, we are tired of this. Let's go after the... And we have seen examples in other communities that were red spots in the past, as well, and peace is reigning there. Because the people in those areas said, look, enough is enough.
Right. So it is easier to say that we want to stem the tide when it comes to the issue of cultism and all of that. Yeah. You said it predated this administration.
Yes.
even in some other states,
Yes.
we are recording.
Yes.
For instance, is it Imo State where we
Imo State, even some parts of Anambra State.
security. But then the problem there is how easy is it for the government to stem the tide to stop cultism when during elections it's alleged that they are enlisted, they are used to to advance their own cause in terms of fighting for positions. So some of the ammunition they gave to them, they don't recall this thing back. In the first place, why did they even give it to them? So speak to that part, to that issue, where politicians use them, and then at the end of the day, they constitute problem to the society.
I think I must quickly tell you that you should have used the word alleged severally while you are making that statement.
Okay, we are both journalists. Alleged.
It's a good alleged, because what you just said cannot be established about every politician. And I can tell you that Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State do not enlist cultists during the election. You know his antecedents in politics. He came into politics from the private sector. He is not a run-on-the-mill politician. And when he came in, he's been seeking election since, at least, let's start in Ogun State from 2003. And he has been one of those politicians who we all can say has his own structure politically that is not the usual. So I can tell you, he do not enlist cultists. And maybe that is why, you see, if you find those politicians who enlist cultists, maybe it will be easier for them to talk to them. But what he has been doing is using the machineries of government and the law to say, look, let us stop these killings. Let us stop this wanton destruction and waste of life. And he has been very open about it. A man who wants to put some people to use before or after a statement will be cautious when he's talking about it. The way Governor Dapo Abiodun has been, what did he do after this? Declared the curfew, instructed the security operatives, get to the root of this. I want the kingpins. Invited the DSS, joined in the search, and results. People were arrested. Active participants in the killings were arrested with their ammunition. One or two of the ammunitions have evidences that they've just been used. A man who has dealings with these characters would not be that brazen. Governor Dapo Abiodun is brazen in his approach to end cultism in Ogun State. And he is open about it. He has spoken to traditional rulers in a manner that has made it clear to them that, look, it's either we work together to end this, or some of you may have to answer for it. He has said it openly. He has said it privately. He has addressed the issue of cultism headlong in a manner that all that is required, and with the way he is cooperating and collaborating with all forms of security operatives on this matter, what we need is a readiness of the community. And when I say, I'm from Remo, so I'm from the Sagamu axis.
Yeah.
And that's why I can tell you this. It pains that all the gains of many years building Remoland, building Sagamu, sometimes we lose it in a day. You see people pulling out their businesses. We see people withdrawing their investments. You see schools closing down. I mean, because of insecurity. So the damage is not just to the government. It is to us as a people. And that's why the governor this time is saying, look, we may have to bring about the death sentence. He said that recently. If you continue this way, we'll ensure that we pass a death sentence on cultism. And once you are nabbed, face the music. Would you relate that with somebody who goes behind the scene to go into dealings with people? Sometimes we need to be very clear about issues. Why we cannot say it is totally untrue that politicians make use of some people during elections, you cannot commit that fallacy of generalization by saying all politicians do. No. It's just like saying all pastors, all clerics rape. We have seen 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 clerics being accused of rape. Some have even found guilty. Some have even confessed. But will it be correct to say all clerics rape? No. Right. It would be wrong to say all politicians engage cultists. But for yourself, you can see in the way the governor has been all out. It's not just about Sagamu. There was a time it was Ijebu. And then we have relative peace there now because this administration made it clear that, look, we would not tolerate this.
Right.
So that's a way to separate those who can probably be involved from those you can be sure won't do such things.
Okay, let me quote the spokesperson of the Nigeria Police Force, that's Muyiwa Adejobi. He said that the situation goes beyond the mere anti-cultism squad, stressing that all hands must be on deck. He says that Shagamu's case goes beyond the mere anti-cultism squad again. Yeah. He said the others know how to handle them. The politicians know what to do. That's quoting him now. Yes. I was in their midst in Sagamu between 2006 and 2008, but no single court clash before I left in 2008. Adejobi said. But now, have we been able to investigate why these traditional heads or the elders are not willing to support efforts of the government? From what you are saying, how come they are not willing to expose these people? Have we gone to the root of the matter? Because if perhaps we have questioned them, maybe they might say something that is not out there.
It may not be too correct to also say they are not willing to support the government to end cultism. That they have not done, that enough has not been done to nip this in the bud will be correct. Because in their little ways, they respond to government activities and plots. But what we are saying is the need to say, these are the people. If you keep going after these boys on the street running after themselves, we are not ready.
It's the same question.
Yeah, so,
we are saying the same
it's different.
No.
It's different.
So who then are we expecting?
Listen. Let me explain. Who will bail the cat?
Who should bail the cat is my question now.
Who should bail the cat are the residents, the community leaders, the traditional system, the traditional rulers.
So have
it's a collective thing.
Is the government engaging these people?
The government has engaged them severally. And that is why we are still seeing some results. But what we are saying is, government will come in at a time like this, do what it has to do, restore peace and order. But government will not stay in Sagamu. You understand? The local government chairman, for example, immediately this happened, to prove that the police spokesperson is correct, he knew what to do. And what did he do? He first banned the movement of motorbikes within the town. Meaning that somebody somewhere understands the fact that with motorbikes, havoc can be wreaked. That is one. Two, there are individuals that are known. They have family names. They have family houses. They have relatives. It will take the cooperation of all these people we have mentioned. More than just government is doing this, we are here to support. No. It will take their own cooperation, their own readiness, their own activities to say, is either these are the people, go for them, or call these people. It's high time you stop this. The next time it happens, we are going to name you.
Or perhaps it's high time the government should change its approach at getting the buy-in of the people.
The buy-in of the people that the government needs is their cooperation.
That's what we're saying.
That is what we'll keep insisting. The level of cooperation you will give depends on your own readiness, irrespective of what anybody does. It is your own readiness. Whatever reason, whatever inhibitions they may have, they will have to sacrifice it in the interest of general good.
What if their life is being threatened at the end of the day?
Then they should come out and say it. And then government will now know what to do. So, it is not just about the state government, security apparatus.
And that's where the trust comes in, because some are of the view that when they go to the security agents to report,
they are not safe.
They see something, they are not safe. They might come back for their own life.
So why don't they come to agencies of government that Governor Dapo Abiodun has empowered, that look, we want to end this thing. Then they do the mediation, let me put it that way, between these people who are willing, the whistleblowers, and the security apparatus. We must, see, life itself is a risk. A man who says, I'll keep quiet because I don't want them to come for me, and there is a court clash, and you lose 2 children, innocent one, maybe stray bullets or whatever. What's the gain? You get what I'm saying? So we must take risk. We must express and display unusual patriotism to our country. Because allowing cultism to thrive under whatever guise is damaging the future.
Right. Right. So the question I want to ask is, the reason why people get into cultism, there must be something that motivates them. Talk to us about what you think motivates them, and those that have been arrested by the government or by the security agencies that the government is aware, the Ogun State government is aware about, what investigation have they done so far to know who sponsored them or who sponsors them and where they get their motivation from, so as to, you know,
have
stop
to
them
use
in their
those
tracks.
information
Exactly.
to address this other matter.
I cannot say much about what the police is doing. You understand? It's a security issue. What we know as an administration, as a government, is the fact that they announced that about 9 persons have been arrested. They have identified them. In fact, I recall the police commissioner in his speech saying they cannot name them yet, so as not to disturb investigation.
Right.
That's how discreet this issue is. So on what manner of investigation they've done, I may not be able to say much other than what they have told us. We've arrested 9 with ammunitions, and 1 or 2 ammunitions have evidences that they've just been used. That much they have told us, and that much I can tell you. But beyond that, what they are doing, the kind of cooperation they are getting from those arrested, we'll have to wait for the police. And it is also good that we do that in the interest of further investigation. Because if the police reveals too much, it may damage their chances of getting. But what we want, and what the governor is insisting on, is that go after the kingpins. It's when we get these kingpins that we can be able to understand the concept.
But the kingpins are usually known. You know, you said it earlier
That's
on
what we are
that
saying.
they are popular.
But
They
do
are
you
known
have?
to
Do
the
you?
people.
No. I didn't say those things. I only told you that those who lives in the community.
And that's what I mean by being popular. I'm not saying that you know that they are popular. I'm saying that people
they
within,
may be
within
popular.
the neighborhood, they know that they are popular.
They should
You know,
know them.
there are some names that when they mention them, everyone knows, you know, what emblem.
But what evidence do you have to go after such names? That's where we need people to offer information. You get what I'm saying? You want to arrest somebody based on perception that, oh, we know. You need concrete evidence. You need facts. You need what we call intelligence.
Yeah.
So that when you arrest him, he does not use his big money again to get off the hook and then turn the tide around. So people who daily see what they do should offer information. This will assist the government to breathe down the neck of the security authorities to say, look, these are available information, for God's sake. What are we waiting for? You see, in a society like ours, we are public good. It's almost secondary. It's difficult to get people to come out and say, look, we want to have this common fight against dangerous developments. But we must make those sacrifices. The governor is daily. When this happened, he swiftly, you see, he's a man who is concerned about what people say about everything or what people see about what he's doing. And he looks at it. How can there be killings? And then you ask the question, what are the motivations? What is motivation for cultism? While we were growing up, the first time I heard about cultism was when I got to their institution. The last time I heard about it was the day I left. Moving out into society again, I'm sure it's the same thing with you. We felt, we left it back behind the gates.
But now it's everywhere.
But suddenly,
It's everywhere.
cultism on the street. Would you still call that cultism? My answer is no. That's gangsterism. These are street gangs with no form of ideology or whatever, who would do and undo according to the dictates of the drug intakes.
I think it's just in nomenclature. Whatever they do on the streets and in the school, cultism, gangsterism.
But the danger,
it's just about the name. It's the same thing they do.
Everybody, bricklayer, carpenter, meat seller, will tell you, look at you and threaten you that I'm a cultist, so I will do this. They are more dangerous. They are more dangerous. Natural. Right. And that is why we should all join hands with authority to end this. If you look at this current happening in Sagamu, so according to what the police said, somebody sold land. Looked at it and said, okay, we have sold land there. Some group came and said, this is our area. Settle us. To avoid, just like we are saying, to avoid... he said, okay, take. Then another group said, what? How could they come from wherever and take that money? This is actually our own territory. And the fight over that money started, leading to attacks, counter-attacks, and before we could say Jack Robinson, lives have been wasted.
It's similar to what we witnessed in this part of the Southwest, talking about Umonile, the fight between
yeah.
So
Umonile.
you see that
Yeah.
there are some things that are related with what we are talking about. We want to end cultism, we will address land grabbing, and since coming into office in 2019, Governor Dapo Abiodun has been particular about ending land grabbing anywhere in Ogun State. The Assembly have passed some laws. He has quickly signed bills into law. He has made pronouncements about land grabbing and how and why it will not be tolerated in Ogun State. Not just because lands will be lost illegally. It is also because people are coming to understanding that this kind of business is illegal, fuels criminality. Right. They need, rather than narrowing on politicians and saying they use them every 4 years, there are people who use them every day. Every day. And they need these boys, so they create avenues where more people join these dangerous sect groups and to serve their own
So how much of a danger does this pose to not just Ogun State, but the Southwest as a whole? Because we've had matters of court clashes in Lagos as well, and some other parts of the Southwest.
Beyond the Southwest, my dear.
Yes.
Cultists were recently, a week or two ago, arrested in Bauchi, Bauchi State. Not campus cultists, street cultists like this. You begin to see that we have a serious pandemic on our hand. A danger that looks like a cancer, fast spreading. You want to talk about the South-South? Or the Southeast?
It's everywhere, actually.
It's everywhere. Or Abuja? So every government must realize that there is a need to fight this danger. And why we call on government to be proactive, we must tell residents of every community. Here in Lagos, sometimes go before I left for Abeokuta, secondary school pupils were arrested and paraded as cultists. You see the danger we talk about.
Is that also a failure of parenting?
It is part when we say stakeholders. Let's look at this issue of Sagamu we are talking about. Some of those people who were shot and killed, they are parents. Those parents, some of those men knew have been issue that this is what my son is into. And they still know their friends or their gangs. Have they spoken out? The answer is no. Parenting. Do you know what your child is doing at every point in time? Do we monitor our sons and daughters because there are now female cult groups that also carry guns and ammunition? So parenting, community policing, community appreciation. When you see a child who has done something good, collectively as a community, we appreciate. When you see a child who has done the otherwise, collectively as a community, we reprimand. Not waiting that he's so person's son, no, and let him continue to wield his gun. It does not affect me. One day, it would affect everybody.
I'm worried as to talking about Ogun State in general. You know, we kept mentioning Sagamu, even though, because the story we're talking about is, what happened in Sagamu. But it looks like Sagamu is notorious for cultism, within Ogun State. Why? Because it's been, talking about from the era of the Gbenga Daniel, that of Amosun, and now the Governor Dapo Abiodun. Sagamu has been notorious for cultist activities. Why is it so?
Well, you see, things happen like this and you are in a tight corner. That's the fate of Sagamu currently.
And it's a sleepy
Sagamu
town.
is known for a lot of good things. Sagamu is a location right on the highway.
Yes.
Ibadan, Ijebu-Ode, Benin. Name where you are going, you pass through Sagamu. Sagamu is a city of peace. Sagamu is a place where a lot of businesses are thriving. Name it. A lot of factories have their manufacturing sites there. But something happens, something will go wrong, and then you lose everything to the inability of one or two persons to behave in appropriate manner. You are right to say we've been on this issue of cultism in Sagamu for years now. Yeah. Why are we still talking about it now? It is because we have not all collectively do what we need to do. And when government come, government will sit down, how do we tackle this? They have a blueprint. The aspect of other stakeholders. If it is not complete, that blueprint won't work. You cannot read a menace as endemic as cultism by mere security approach. Community approach. It's essential. It is essential, and that's the new approach Governor Dapo Abiodun is talking about. It must be bottom up. Okay, let's go to the nooks and crannies of Sagamu. Let's start this war against cultism from there. What are the issues at that level? Then let's come to the city level before we talk about the state level. He is determined, and I am very sure with his anger, let me use that word, his anger against the acts and the perpetrators currently, I am sure we are going to see a new face to fighting cultism in Ogun State.
How far is he willing to go?
All the way. The governor is willing to go all the way. He just told the public, we may enact the death penalty. What's farthest? And meaning, he's reiterating the fact that not just the individual will be culpable. If you are found to have been an accessory to the existing or existence of cultism, you may have to answer for it too. Maybe when we go a bit harder on cultism and cultists, and those we can say are co-perpetrators in certain acts, we may see the governor, from his viewpoint now, sees a danger that must be stopped now. This is not just about being the governor. He talks about cultism as a father. He sees the lives wasted at those of people who could have turned out better in future and useful for the society. But alas, they've been cut down.
Right.
And he does not want a repeat of that.
Because in this case, some secondary school or primary school children's lives were cut short, according to a report, as a result of this cult clash. A really sad one, but we must thank you, Senior Special Assistant on Public Communication to Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, for your time on the program. And congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right.